Final Destination is one of the most iconic horror franchises of all time, and the villain of these films is one of the most unique and hilarious concepts in any horror franchise ever. What if Death was a petty bitch and liked to play with his food, Rube Goldberg style? A simple yet genius idea that Final Destination took 5 films over 11 years to traumatize an entire generation to fear normal, everyday items. But mostly logs. We mostly fear trucks driving with logs. Final Destination Bloodlines once again asks the exciting, horrifying, and most importantly, squirm-inducing question that only Final Destination can ask. How many ordinary day-to-day items can be transformed into a Rube Goldberg machine of death? Short answer, everything. Hey guys, I'm Jax, and this is my spoiler-free review for Final Destination Bloodlines, aka Final Destination 6. It has been 14 long years since Final Destination 5. I personally never thought we'd see another Final Destination film. It was so wild when they announced it. I genuinely couldn't believe it when they announced it. I got a little bit serious.
I did my waiting! 12 years of it!
This is the first Final Destination film I got the honor of seeing in the cinema on the big sexy silver screen, and it was honestly overwhelming. It is the perfect and in a lot of ways only way to watch this, at least for the first time. It was kind of surreal to see Final Destination on a giant screen with a crowd. Like, I was so used to seeing these films on sleepovers when I was in my teens, but I've just never experienced it on the big screen, and straight away I've got to say, I loved this film. I literally only have one issue, and honestly, it's not even an issue. Like, about 15 minutes in, I realized what they were doing, and I went, oh, it is what it is. I'm just gonna rip the Band-Aid right off. There's CGI blood in this, and I'm not the biggest fan of CGI blood. Now, don't get me wrong. I love CGI as much as the next guy. Marvel, Avatar. The third example. I just think there are 2 times in cinema when CGI shouldn't be utilized. Orcs, goblins, and urukai, and blood and gore in horror films. So yeah, there's a bunch of CGI gore. Not a big fan, but literally the only thing wrong with it. Let's get to literally everything else in this film, because oh boy, there's a lot. This film is a must-see in cinemas on the biggest screen with as many friends in the most packed cinema you can find. It is the true definition of a blockbuster horror film that we honestly just don't get that often. It was such an exciting thrill ride. You will be screaming, you'll be shouting, and most importantly, you'll be squirming in anticipation of the long, extended set pieces that are just setting up who's gonna die and what random household object, what day-to-day thingy is gonna spill over and hit a different thingy and roll down and hit another thingy, and then maybe that's gonna kill them. Oh shit, something over here is gonna kill them. And just the way this film plays with your expectations of subverting them, remixing them. Sometimes it just does exactly what you expect it's going to do, but in such a savagely gory and brutal way. It's just so exciting, yet awful and horrible. And the film just takes such gleeful joy in drawing out these scenes, just ratcheting up the tension, ratcheting up the suspense in such exciting and fun ways, but also just genuinely filled with actual suspense and tension, and it just knows what film you're in for. Like, this is Final Destination 6. They know the assignment. They've done the homework, and they're here to give like a strong B+, maybe an A-. I'd love to say they were handing in an A+, Lisa Simpson style, just they nailed everything. But as I said, CGI gore kind of frustrated me continuously throughout the film. There is like CGI non-gore stuff, particularly kind of towards the start and towards the end, that I kind of will give a pass on because the set pieces are so crazy and I just kind of can't see them actually building those kind of sets and doing those kind of things. It is what it is. But yeah, it's just that gore and the blood. There is still tangible, tactile, practical stuff in this film, but a lot of the explosions of gore, just a little bit CGI for me. But hey, that's a personal preference and a personal distaste for that type of stuff. If CGI blood and blood splatter that CGI doesn't affect you and you love Final Destination, this film's a slam dunk. This is probably going to be your favorite film in the franchise. It is overwhelming because of all the things that you're there to see, well, the one thing you're there to see, death scenes, elaborate death sequences, Rube Goldberg machines of doom and destruction, killing people. It just nails it. It nails everything you want from it. Some of them are funny. Most of them are very funny. Some of them are horrific. Some of them are quick. Some of them are long. Like, there's such a wide, varied amount of things going on. It just does everything you want to see. But then on top of that, the one thing this film does that I don't think any of the other films kind of nail 100% is the characters we actually focus on in this film. Because in this film, they do the one thing that Final Destination somehow has not done yet. And that is focus on family. The family aspect of this film was a genius choice. It completely elevates it above the other films in the franchise in terms of its characters. The family feel real. They feel alive. They feel like an actual extended family. Everybody has really great chemistry. There's a lot of tension between various parties in the family. Everybody's got different kind of vibes with everyone else. And it just feels really real. Some of it is like mildly a little bit rushed if it was compared to, like, say, just a standard drama film. But compared to the other Final Destination films, this takes so much more time to let us get to know these characters and to live with them and breathe with them, whilst also just doing a classic old Final Destination. Like, one set piece death scene is also taking place at a family barbecue. And so you're getting all this character work and all this really juicy stuff, but also the whole time, it's just building up tension and you're just like, I know what ticket I paid for. Who the... pardon my French, but who the fuck is going to die in this scene? Stop having actual character moments, because now I care about everybody, and I actually don't want anybody to die. Which, for a Final Destination, it's almost so out of character I don't even like it. Final Destination kind of feels like the back half of Freddy Krueger's filmography, where you're kind of like rooting for the villain at a certain point. Just having gleeful, maniac fun watching the absurd, crazy, over-the-top death kill sequences. Final Destination, after a certain point, kind of feels like that. I kind of feel like 3 is the only one where I care about any of the characters, and the rest are just kind of like, how are these kids gonna die? When are these kids gonna die? Death, hurry it up! Where's the wind, Death? Whereas in this film, a lot of it was like, I actually don't want to see them die, / that's what I paid my ticket for. I want to see them die. And it really rode that tonal balance so beautifully, where it actually at times, like, not fully, but kind of fully, felt like it was almost like an A24 horror film, where it was like, yeah, sure, Death's doing classic Final Destination stuff, but also, the villain of this piece, the monster, is a metaphor. This time for generational family trauma and hereditary mental illness. I'm literally not kidding. It's literally like, what if Final Destination was an A24 film? Also, still just a Final Destination film. It's crazy. I actually don't know how they managed to make both work and like gel. I think that might be massively down to the cast and the actors. They are all sensational. I really don't even want to say which ones are my favorite, because I feel like it's going to reveal who survives for longer, because the way it twists and turns and kind of subverts expectation but does the thing you expect at times and just kind of roller coastering throughout the film. I hadn't seen the main trailer. I just saw one of the deaths on that early trailer, so I had no idea about the plot or anything. So if you don't know anything, go in blind. It's super exciting. It's super fun. It's not the most mind-blowing thing you'll ever see outside of one reveal that truly jaw-dropping. I couldn't believe it. But generally speaking, everyone's really, really good in it. And I think another thing that elevates this film is that it is funny. Like, not laughing at just how crazy the death scenes are, but like, just legitimately funny in the writing. It is easily the funniest film. There is some very, very dark humor in this film. There's a baby joke in this that, like, I almost threw up. I was laughing so much. I loved it. It was horrific, but very, very funny. I was the only one laughing in this cinema, and that made me want to die inside. But if I'm being honest, I think that says more about everyone else in the room rather than me. This film also really cleverly avoids what you'd kind of expect from a film 14 years later in being like a legacy sequel, a requel, or maybe a remake. This is just like a new installment, like the 6th film in the franchise, but also it's kind of like a sneaky little prequel at times. It also feels at times it could be, depending on box office, the final installment in the franchise. It just does so much to tie the franchise together. It feels like a culmination of everything. It kind of weaves and ties all the films together in really interesting ways. The lore and mythology that it kind of adds onto the Final Destination series is sensational. There's some big swings, and there's one particular thing that I thought was incredible. I thought it was amazing. I fucking loved it. I thought the plot was crazy awesome and really interesting and so fresh and different, whilst also essentially just doing the same film we've seen 5 other times. But just this little extra wrinkle and twist into it really made it feel fresh and new in an exciting way. Does this new lore and mythology make sense logically? If you think about it for 2 seconds, no. No. After the film, I did think about it, and I talked with someone about it, and I suddenly realized, oh, I don't think that makes any sense in context for the other films. But as I was watching the film, I didn't notice. I was having a rollicking good time. I was like, this is good world building. Is it good world building? Canon continuity wise, no. I still think it's awesome though. I don't know. I guess I'm just an idiot. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and all those YouTube-y things. And most importantly, comment below. Let me know, what did you think of Final Destination 6?